Hi, and welcome to Rabbit and Moon Tarot. My name is Angel, and I'll be doing a reading looking into the beginning part of 2026. Now, for those who have been here before, I apologize for being away for so long. I was just awfully ill. I had no voice, lots of coughing and sneezing. You know, 'tis the season with winter and all that. So I wanted to make sure I was fully recovered before I actually did a reading. But I did a lot of meditating during that time, and I feel like during the holiday, if you celebrate it on the 25th, or if you celebrate on the 20th and the 21st, 22nd, regardless, something happened during that time. And I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I'm hoping to find out what that is now. So I'm going to be using two different decks. I'm going to do a past, present, and future with what's called the Runic Tarot, and then I'll be doing clarifications with the Heaven and Earth Tarot. So I'm just going to put this up here, but we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't really know what's going to come through in the reading, but I'm going to let Spirit dictate that because there just felt like a lot of energetic movement, lots of change. We're so close to the end of 2025. For those that have been feeling that 9 year, the Virgo energy year, the Hermit energy year, about going in and really kind of clearing out and figuring out what it is you want so that when 2026 comes in, you're ready kind of to hit the ground running, because we're going from the year of the snake to year of the fire horse. So, the year of the snake, 2025, we've kind of just been um, cruising along, belly to the ground, really understanding what it is that we want, we need, we require. And now we're shedding that skin and moving into 2025, 2026, which is year of the fire horse. That is transformation. That is forward movement, passion, love, destiny, alignment, all of those things. And it's a 1 year. So this is the time where whatever it is that you've come to realize in 2025 is your new aligned path. 2026 is the year to make it happen. Now, I will say this. Just because it's a 1 year doesn't mean that everything's going to just magically fall into place. This is quite literally the very beginning of the next abundant cycle. And so it's going to require us to finish closing out what we need to from 2025 and taking a proactive and mindful step into alignment. We might still have to tie some things up, but 2026, like just talking about it, gives me all these energetic feelings. So enough of that. Let's just go ahead and get into the reading. We're going to start with past energy first. I've been guided to shuffle and then just pull the first four from the top and then the last one at the bottom to kind of describe what was happening this past year. That didn't shuffle very well, so let's try that again. Okay. So for past energy, what is it that the collective, what have y'all been going through in 2025? Let's see what we've got. Oh, this one wants to come out, so we'll go ahead and take that. Put that 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, one more. 5 for the past. Okay, then we're going to move on to what you're currently going through. Well, we've got some that just want to go ahead and come out. So we've got the World, and we've got the 4 of Wands. And then we'll just do the next 3. Which already I'm loving that energy. The World and the 4 of Wands? Or the 4 of Wands? Okay, and then what is likely to happen and unfold during the near future in 2026? So, okay. So the bottom of the deck that you don't see coming is Page of Wands. This is the energy of wanting to make things happen. It's not quite there yet, but you have the fire starting to kindle and burn inside. You want to be able to take action towards something, to an aligned path, to a new endeavor, a new job, a new place to live, a new relationship, a new collective or community. There is something that you are, I just heard in my head, I think I'm ready. Like, put me in, coach. I think I'm ready. You haven't quite taken the step just yet, but this is what you don't see coming is that all of a sudden that fire to to have that moment where you're like, I think I'm ready. Put me in the game. I've learned what I'm going to learn in the last 9 years, and 2025 wrapping up. Now that 2026 is right around the corner, I think I'm actually ready. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down here as what you don't see coming. Let's get started on what these cards are. Okay, so first cards we have for what was happening in the past. Pardon me. We have Judgment. So there may have been something that came to pass that Judgment card is about the universe, your gods, your higher self, your faith, whatever you want to call it, is struggling to put you into alignment with what is meant for you. Now, sometimes people can really lean into that. They recognize what the calling is. They know what's going to happen, and they're like, I want this to happen. I recognize my path. But at the same time, there are those of us out there in the world where we see what needs to happen, and we are a little bit trepidatious about having those things happen. Then we have the High Priestess. This is the energy of having intuition. So we have Judgment, your higher self, your God, your gods, your energy, the ancestors, whoever you work for, that higher energy, or even just your higher self, saying there is something that's in alignment for you, but you have to trust your intuition. Mind you, this is all what's happening in the past of 2025. There may have been something that was really brewing that you could feel an eventuality, an inevitability. Pardon me, I almost got tongue tied there. An inevitability because something in your intuition was telling you, really pay attention to this. So maybe your egoic mind, your everyday, like what society has shaped around you, you've thought, no, that's not for me, or this isn't happening, or that's not ending, or that's not starting, or whatever it is. You may be kind of, in the past, have been like putting it off, or recognizing, or thinking you recognize, oh no, this isn't actually happening. But on an intuitive level, your soul, your higher self, your gods, your deities are trying to tell you there is a path that is destined for you. And I think you know it. You may have even dreamed about it. Your intuition was like knocking at the door. Okay, so next card we have Four of Swords. This is about healing. This is about taking the needed time to really, really heal whatever it is. So that, gosh, in the past, you may have really gone through some really gritty, textured, difficult times, whether it be loss of a job, loss of a loved one, loss of a relationship. Maybe you fell on hard times. Maybe there was just a moment in which you recognized that there was some deep inner work that needed to be done. And in the past, your guides or your ancestors, your higher self, and your intuition was trying to put you towards a path. And it looks like you took notice. You realized, wait a minute, let me just step away for a second. Let me just make sure that I'm okay. Let me check in with myself. I'm getting the inclination, collective, that in general, maybe in the past you have endured hardships, heartbreak, loss of jobs, loss of loved ones, and have tried to like bury yourself in work to forget, or jump into another relationship to get over someone, or, some people even turn to the bottle or recreational drugs to kind of forget and numb what was happening. But that's not what's happened here. This looks like there was almost like a thundering call, or your soul was saying, no, take the time for yourself. You're going to need it. Then we have the 10 of Cups. Oh my goodness. The 10 of Cups. Your intuition and your higher self, your gods, your ancestors, whoever it is, has been knocking at your door saying, I know this is scary, but trust your intuition. There is something meant for you, but it's not on the current path that you're on. And so you need to take the time to heal from the closing of this cycle, this 2025 cycle. Take the time to tie up loose ends, to make amends, to break away peacefully or amicably, to strive into a new endeavor, a new experience. Take the time that you need to heal, because what is on the menu, what is coming forward in your personal reality, looks like emotional fulfillment. Looks like something brand new, something more fulfilling. Last card for the past, the Nine of Swords. Oh, this is tough for you. This is tough for you. You're thinking about it so much. Like you recognize, like, okay, this person is carrying these swords. This person is thinking about all, fallen comrades and all the battles that may have not gone the way that they wanted to. But we also have, look at the color difference in these two. We have someone who's having a hard time letting go or stopping the circle thinking. And then we have over here with Judgment and the High Priestess saying, I know it's hard, but this is what's in alignment. There is something for you, but it's not on this timeline. It's not on this path. You have to be ready to heal and move forward from that path to gain this emotional fulfillment. And this is something that the collective, my luminaries, you might find really difficult, but there is a realization that is happening, because now we move to what's happening currently. What has happened in the last month? What has happened in the last month? We have the World card. This feels like there was a sudden realization of what needed to happen. Now, back here, I want to call this a soft realization, like a slow kind of creeping energy, like over time, maybe you're pushing away your intuition and saying, no, this isn't really what I am expecting, or that can actually be possible. But as the days or weeks and months have gone by from the beginning of January 2025 to where we're in November, I feel like there was a soft kind of slow realization, kind of like if you would imagine the unfolding of a flower, how slowly it blooms. You know what I mean? It was like a slow, soft realization. But when the realization came, finally, when you had that moment of like, oh, no, this does need to happen. It's not an easy truth to see or to admit or to be comfortable with. But now we're in the present energy of the world. The world wants to close this cycle. This 9-year, this is a culmination point of everything that you've gone through for the last 9 years. And I'll tell you, moving forward from cycles that you've been in, or behavior patterns that you have, or relationships that you keep getting yourself into, or jobs that you're settling for, or living situations that are not the most comfortable, you living in that life for 9 years and now having the slow realization to like kind of that bright illuminated moment of the world, and you're like, this needs to change. That's not easy. You've lived in this energy for 9 years, and that's not bad. It's what needed to happen for you in order to learn whatever you needed to learn so that you were ready to accept and to understand and to recognize the abundance that's coming forward, because now we have the Four of Wands. Look at this beautiful image of these two people coming together. Now, this could be about relationships. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, look at that. If I didn't see the four there, I would be like, oh, that's the Lovers card. It's the Four of Wands. This is whatever situation you're currently in, even if it's in its most like natal or baby form or early form or its infancy, like whatever it is, if it's in its seed form, whatever is happening right now for you, collective, if this resonates, take it. But whatever is going on that you feel like there are these positive little warm fuzzies that you're getting about a job, an endeavor, a journey, a relationship, a friendship, a collective, a team, a development team, whatever it is, whatever these small murmurings of, this makes me feel good. This is letting us know, hey, it's likely to start ramping up. Again, we're moving into 2026, the year of the fire horse, which means passion, transmutation, action, like sort of moving at breakneck speed. And that could mean a lot of things. If this isn't relationships, this is partnership in maybe business, in career, maybe understandings between friends. But the four is about up leveling, moving from one stage to the next. And since again, we will be in the year of the fire horse, that is level 1 to level 2 is going to happen really fast. And level 2 to level 3 is going to keep going faster and faster and faster. And it's not because you're not ready, but you've been in these past cycles for 9 years. Now you're like making up for lost time. Now is time to bring in that abundance and to be ready with open arms and open hands to be like, okay, universe, I'm ready for whatever you got for me. Okay, so let's see what else we have. Then we have the 9 of Wands. Again, we have this energy of this kind of very similar to up here. We have the 9 of Swords up here. And then we have the 9 of Wands right here. Again, in this present moment, you can recognize how the universe is trying to move you forward. You recognize whatever it is that are giving these kind of whispers or murmurs of possible happiness, possible connection, possible fulfillment, up leveling to the next, chapter. If you're dating someone, maybe you become official. If you're official, maybe you move in together. If you're in the talking stage, you start being exclusive. If this is a job, maybe you get a raise. If there's a living situation, you get the possibility to upgrade to a newer home. But with the 9 here is also telling me that you're resilient. So all of this stuff back here, over here that you were worried about, like hard to close cycles, even in the face of moving forward, you're still, I feel, okay, I do feel there's a little bit of hesitancy still. You're resilient and you're ready and you're standing at your post. But even though you can recognize that things are moving forward and it's going to, oh, okay, hold on. I got it. I hear it. It's like you can feel things ramping up and you're a little bit tentative because you've endured a lot through the last 9 years. And that's not maybe you did. No, for those that resonates, the last 9 years have been some of the most dynamic and gritty years of your life. Defining moments in your life. Moments of like, wow, clarity. Wow, someone's holding a mirror up to me and I'm seeing all the things that I need to work on about myself. And then I start realizing all the things that I see in other people that are deal breakers for me, whether it's in business, love, family, friendship. It's a lot. And so I do feel there's a little bit of hesitancy, but it's not hesitancy as in trying to slow things down. It is, I'm hearing cautiously optimistic. Like you're moving forward, but you're trying to be pragmatic, which is fair. 9 years is a long time to go through cycles, and you just want to be sure that you're doing the right thing. I get it. Knight of Wands. What are we talking about? We're talking about 2026 as a year of the fire horse. Is this not the epitome of the image of a fire horse? And this is why the 9 of Wands is here. You can feel how fast this is fucking coming in. I'm sorry about swearing, but it is very, very strong. And so you're like, okay, you know what? I'm here for this. I'm here for this ride. But let me just tell you before we get yeeted into the future, let me just say, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm ready to receive the good stuff that's coming, but I'm also very prepared for me to be challenged. Okay, last card of the present. Then we have the 5 of Pentacles. I see. You are here for this change. You recognize how fast it's moving. But again, that energy of being slightly cautiously optimistic because, again, look at these differences in the cards. I'm ready for whatever is going to come forward. I'm here for this ride. I just heard I'm here for this roller coaster, whatever that means. But you also want to be prepared to be challenged. And I do feel like for some, and not all, but some of you all may be looking a gift horse in the mouth. Like whatever it is that's making you excited or feeling those warm fuzzies, whatever you've gone through in the last 9 years is making you now be like, I'm excited about this, but I'm cautiously optimistic because this could go bad. That's kind of that energy. And you're prepared for if something doesn't pan out, if you feel like whatever was making you happy all of a sudden crumbles. But I don't feel like that's what's going to happen. I feel like that's what you are kind of teetering on, what you're preparing yourself for. And that's a very human thing to do. I'm not knocking anybody because I 100% can feel that energy. I understand what that's like, where you want to be super excited about a possibility, about an adventure, about a relationship, about a new job. But at the same time, you're like, okay, 50% of me says, yes, let's go forward. The other 50% of me is being like, let's just take it one step at a time, and let's not expect too much so we're not disappointed. That kind of energy. But I don't. Honestly, I'm just going to be honest with you, collective. I don't feel like there's going to be a lot of disappointments in your personal sphere, your personal life, love, career, friendship, family. But I do think there will be challenges, and that's different than disappointments. It's how we grow. It's how we recognize we're ready for certain things. Okay, so let's look at what's going to happen throughout 2026. 6 of Swords, this is movement forward. This is internal movement, but it's also external. So for those of you that may be thinking in the current energy that maybe you're connecting with a great job opportunity, a new collective, a new friend, a new love interest. This right here is about recognizing that inner growth in yourself, recognizing that, like I said earlier, I think I'm ready. I think I'm absolutely ready. At the same time, this can mean literal movement. So maybe you have to move to take a job. Maybe someone is moving to be near you. Maybe there is movement in the sense that, and this is a little bit more niche, but maybe there's movement within the home, like you're redecorating or you are renovating as a way to kind of allow energy flow, if that's, the kind of life that you lead. But this is about movement, positive movement forward internally, and also sometimes movement in the 3D, moving house, moving jobs, redecorating or retrofitting, that sort of thing. In the future, we also have the 3 of Cups. This is, I don't want to say reconciliation, because that's not what I'm saying. This is reconnection with, reconnection with happiness. And that's not to say that you haven't been happy, but there's a certain type of happiness that perhaps maybe you thought you would not experience again. A certain level of fulfillment that you're like, well, I felt that once. I don't know if I could ever really capture that feeling again. Maybe because I was young. I was a young person and I was having like the time of my life. I'm not going to be able to recapture that giddy feeling of excitement. Or, the last time I worked in an art collective, that was really amazing. I don't know if I can recapture that vibe again. Or I don't know if I'll ever feel that giddy, Twitter-pated, like falling in love feeling again when I did when I was like 16 or 17. That was because I was a young person. But now I'm a whole adult, but here I'm seeing it. There's a reconnection to a type of happiness that you felt like you wouldn't experience again, or a type of fulfillment that you thought you wouldn't feel again, but you are, and you will. Next card is the Magician, because it's well within your power, your authority, and reality for you to make it happen. The Magician talks about how you already have everything that you need in order to create. And when I say that, it's the best way I can put that is like, if you want to have a holiday feast, you already have all the fixings at home. You just have to put it all together to create said feast. So it's essentially saying you already have what you need around you, whether it's energetic or situational or connections. You already have what you need around you, but it's up to you to want to put those things together to create your reality. Because I've said it before on this channel, we are the maestros of our own destiny. Fate, destiny, the universe, it's not pre-written. It will offer us different things, but it's up to us to walk through that door, to take that path, to say something or to not say something, to act or not to act. We are co-creating our reality with the universe. And so here it's talking about doing just that. Then we have the Queen of Wands. This is another, I love this, because in my mind, this is how I'm going to tell you how I feel. The Magician is the magician, the mage, the wizard, the witch, the shaman of the major arcana. The Queen of Wands is the witch, the shaman, the magician, the mage of the minor arcana. And so we have a masculine and feminine energy here. This also tells me that someone that you're connected to currently may be the same person that's given that energy over here. The one that I thought was like the lover's energy. This is something that is fated. This is something, in the way I feel about this is something that is not by chance, nor is it by accident that this connection is happening. Now, it could be a business endeavor because you both are able to create, because both energies, magician and the Queen of Wands, all about manifestation, all about belief in self, all about knowing that they shape their reality. And if two people together believe that they are on the same page, they have the same types of energetic feelings or resources or belief systems or outlooks on lives, this makes me feel like this is meant to be. Whether it be a colleague at work, a romantic relationship, someone that you recently just met, a travel partner, someone who's going to backpack across Europe with you. This is not by chance. And I'm gonna put them together like this because it feels like that's what's supposed to happen. Whoever's entering in your life, whoever's entered now and or is entering within the first couple of weeks of 2026 was put in your path for an absolute reason. Next card is the Four of Cups. This is, some people see this card as like, oh, I'm kind of rejecting these offers that are being sent to me. I'm kind of disinterested. But that's not how I see it, especially with this lined up. What this tells me is once you've connected with this person, this Four of Cups is like, I'm good. I don't need anything else. So this makes me feel like if this is a collective, it's like you found your people, found your home, found your tribe. So you don't need to go on forums being like, hey, I'm looking for someone to collab with. If this is a job, this is that moment where you find that perfect job that just gels with you, that kind of is in line motto-wise, product-wise, whatever it is, they're in line with it. So over here, you're like, okay, I'm good. I don't need to look for a job anymore. And if this is a relationship, this is someone that you've connected with that has, understands kind of your point of view. Maybe has same feelings of world beliefs or energetic views, or you have the same goals, or you have the same interests. There's just a lot that's kind of connecting these two energies together. And once you feel that way, you're like, I'm good. I don't need to be on this dating profile anymore. I don't need to go to the bar this weekend to see if I can meet someone. I've met my person. I've met the person that I'm supposed to essentially work with. And this is 2026. Again, fire horse. This is going to happen quickly. So now that we've got that kind of ironed out as to what you've gone through, what is currently happening, and what is the possible future, let's look at what Spirit says. Okay, we're going to get just a couple of cards for each row, but what I am going to get right now is a card that Spirit wants you to focus on. Something that perhaps maybe Spirit has been trying to tell you. A message from Spirit I'm hearing. So for the collective, what is Spirit trying to tell them in regards to moving into 2026, the year of the fire horse, the year of this transformative passion, action? We are literally being catapulted and yeeted into this year filled with fire and passion. And there is something, I'm telling you right now, collective, I feel this fire energy very strongly, but there's something about the months of April, May, and June, like the middle to latter ends of spring, moving into that Beltane kind of fire energy that is most specifically it's a point of I don't want to say point of interest. I don't know if that's the right term, but a point of attention, something to kind of, if you're keeping a journal, be mindful about what's happening during the months of April, May, and June. Because from my perspective, just looking into 2026, I haven't even looked at the charts for the planets, but there feels like there's something around that Beltane, early summer energy that is going to be pivotal. Okay, so, and me just talking about that just is making me breathy and anticipation, very excited. The energy is Okay, so we have a card, and it's, hold on, let me turn it around. It is the Six of Cups. Sorry, it's a little bit of a glare. Six of Cups is about, well, there's a couple of things that it's about. I'll go with the obvious. It's about the past. It's about growing from the past, learning from the past, recognizing your wants and needs of your inner child. And I know that can be a clickbaity term, but in this, I feel like it's very, very pertinent. It's about recognizing who you are, what you want, what's important, and those closing of those cycles, like I'm talking about for the last 9 years. 2025 is the Hermit card. It's a 9 card. It's about going inward and figuring out what you want, need, and desire. It all talks about from a core place at your inner child. What makes you feel safe? What makes you feel seen? What makes you feel heard? What makes you feel valued and validated? And then the other meeting that I was immediately going to go to was soulmate energy. The universe is telling you to be aware of soulmate energy, because that soulmate energy is going to see you for who you are, is going to handle you with tenderness, attentiveness. They are not going to invalidate your feelings. They're going to be there. They're going to want to know how you're doing. And a soulmate doesn't always have to be romantic. It could be that person you meet at work who's like, what did they call them? Your work spouse, or like your new best friend, or someone from an art collective, or maybe it is romantic. But regardless of what way it manifests in 2026, I feel like Spirit is trying to tell you that whoever's coming forward is a soulmate. Okay? So let's get a couple of cards for what Spirit wants to tell you about, like what you learned from your past. So let's just get a couple of cards. Okay, so we have 2 that are balancing. 1 is Temperance. What you've learned in the past is how to balance, is not to give so much of yourself that your cup is empty, but also to remember not to take so much because you need to feel validated that you leave the other person drained. This is about the balance between giving and receiving. This is the balance of your inner world, your outer world. And this is about creating healthy balance of masculine and feminine energy. This is not about gender. This is literally about energy. You learned how to be more balanced, more, I heard, well-rounded. Okay, the other card that's just kind of balancing on my hand is the Devil card. So combination, oh my God, this is so perfect. I just talked about learning how to balance your shadow and light, your masculine and feminine, how to not give so much of yourself that your cup is empty, but also not to take so much from someone else unknowingly because you need to feel validated that you leave their cup empty. This is about understanding the difference, the dynamic between recognizing a good balance and a bad balance. What you learned was the shadow parts of yourself in 2025. And what you also learned was how to balance and incorporate those shadow aspects. The Devil card isn't a bad card. It's the Capricorn card. It talks about deep passions. It talks about love and carnality. It also talks about, the lesser emotions like anger and jealousy. The Devil card isn't always bad, but it is a very strong energy, and by itself can lead to some maybe not so great cycles. But with it in combination with the Temperance card, it's telling us what you learned is how to balance the shadow and light of yourself, to recognize passion and carnality, but also how to stave off, obsessive thinking and jealousy. This was a deeply transformative year. You learn stuff about yourself that maybe you didn't even realize. Hold on, let me put this over here so you can see it better. Okay, so I'll get a couple of cards. What does Spirit want to tell you about what is happening now? What does Spirit want to tell you about what's happening now? Hold on, I have 2 cards that popped up. They're like that. So let me see. We got the Nine of Cups, which is emotional fulfillment. And then we also have the Hierophant. I don't know, y'all. This might be love for somebody. Because we have what I thought was the Lover's card here. It's the Four of Wands. It's about moving things forward. Like next level stuff. And now we have the Hierophant and the Nine of Cups. This is Spirit telling you that whatever's happening here, whoever this person is that you are in contact with currently, is helping you build a certain type of structure, or is providing a certain, no, structure is not the right word. Hold on. This person is providing a certain level of like consistency. There we go. This person, whoever they are, is providing a certain type of consistency, dependability, a type of structure that creates and kind of incentivizes or encourages emotional vulnerability on your part. And this, I'm getting this person is not failing you. Like they're not over. Okay, hold on, Spirit. This person, I'm seeing the Nine of Cups and I'm hearing water, water, water. So this person is either a water sign and or they are just comfortable with kind of expressing how they feel. And I want to be clear, this person is not love bombing and then not trauma bonding. This is someone who is just genuinely honest about how they feel. It doesn't have to be romantic. So if you're hearing this and you're like, that sounds like me, but I'm not in love with this person or I'm not into this person, they're just a good person, then take that. I'm just saying for those that it might be romantic, that this energy is genuine. This energy is in alignment with how you feel. If this is non-romantic, it could be someone who just is easy to talk to, a confidant, someone who has kind of the makings of a best friend, someone that you can rely on, that is dependable, that doesn't ghost, that doesn't invalidate, that hears you and listens and checks in on you. This is what I'm talking about. Spirit is trying to say, hey, this person, again, when I say down here with these two magical cards, it's not by chance that this energy has happened. This energy here was absolutely meant to be in your life moving into 2026. Now, let's get the last cards for our reading for 2026. What else does Spirit want you to know for this near future throughout 2026? The King of Swords. There's going to be... I just heard you're going to see the truth of it. Here with this Nine of Wands, where I said that the energy is, you recognize that there's this forward moving energy and you're like, I see it, I'm here, I'm ready for this ride, but I'm also just being cautiously optimistic just in case. But in the near future, you see the absolute truth of it. Even if you were to like put your feelings on a shelf just temporarily and look at it from a logical point, even from a logical point, you're like, no, this feels right. This feels absolutely 100% right. It feels sound. It feels logical. It feels fair. It feels truthful and real. Okay, so let's get one more. Oh. Okay, so I dropped half my stack, but here we go. It's the card that came to the table. The Death card. Yes, let me put this down. Not only do you see the truth of it, the realness of it, like, again, like I said, if you are, it's an air sign. So if you are a Libra, an Aquarius, or a Gemini, and you're like, okay, let me just put my feelings aside just for a moment, not forever, just for a moment, so I can look at this from like an intellectual point of view, a logical point of view. Does this make sense? The answer is yes. Yes, the answer is yes. You recognize that whatever is happening here, the Magician and the Queen of Wands, that magical pairing, you're understanding whatever is happening here, it's not just like an illusion. It's not just your feelings running away from you. you can see the truth, the clarity, the realness about that. And the death card means that when you see that, when you realize, it opens up your life for real change. Like maybe there is a lifestyle that you've always wanted, whether it's job or living situation or romance. Maybe you kind of like had this daydream. And let's just put it into romance because I'm comfortable talking about love. Let's say there was a relationship that you always wanted, that in your mind you had an idea of what kind of person you would be and what kind of person your partner was. Maybe you felt really deeply drawn to being like a provider, and your partner is someone who like you support their dreams, or maybe vice versa. Maybe you look for someone who is, has that really strong provider energy, and then you're a homemaker, or maybe your view of it is that you both equally have provider and homemaker energy. Whatever the balance is, whatever your life looks like, whatever interests that you were hoping that this person would have, or that your life would have, or how your life would unfold, or imagine growing old with someone, if we're going that far down the line, it's something that you had in your head that you're like, this would be really wonderful, but you almost kind of just like relegated that for just like, oh, well, that would be nice but like, if I'm being realistic about it, I would also just take this. No, this feels like you have the chance to create the life, the home, the relationship, the future, the destiny that you want. Because whoever is here wants to create and manifest that same kind of life. Be it lover, be it colleague, be it collective. You understanding collective that all of this, everything that you've gone through, was leading to this moment right now. Everything. I feel like I should get an oracle card to close out the 2026 reading. So hold on just a second while I grab one, and then we'll be done with the reading. Okay, so we're going to use the Intuitive Whispers Oracle. Just get one card. That's it. Intuitive Whispers. Intuitive Whispers. Trust the call. I'm getting goosebumps right now, and I'm all of a sudden getting really emotional. Trust the call. And we have a 44. That is a spiritual angel number. To me, that looks like 1111 and 1111. To me, that looks like this is what... Oof, this is strong. This is what's meant to happen. This is what your life, all this rigmarole and all these cycles have been culminating to this point. You just have to want to create it. You just have to want it too. You have everything that you need. Like I said, you proverbially have all the things in the kitchen to make this grand feast. You just have to put it all together and want it and work towards it and recognize it when you see it. So that's my reading for what went on in 2025, what's currently happening for you, and what is possible and I want to say like on the brink, on the precipice of being like born into the 2026 year for you, my collective, my beautiful luminaries. This feels great. And this is, I'm talking about your personal world, how things are unfolding for you. There is something that you've felt called to. Remember I said it back here, Temperance, High Priestess. You've been feeling this call. Maybe even, I just heard, you might have felt an energetic shift at some point in your life. In the last year, maybe 2 years at the most, but all of a sudden there was like this, like a train track going forward, and when they change tracks, there's that little where the train, instead of going forward, it moves off into another direction. You felt a shift at some point in your life, and this is what the shift was. This is what the shift led you to. And at the time when the tracks deviated, when you started traveling that new path, maybe you didn't feel it right away because it was still so close to the original path. But now here we are at the end of 2025, and you look back and you could be like, wow, I left that path behind. Not because it was bad, not because I hated it. It was just time for change. And I said at the beginning, Spirit has been trying to tell you about this change that was coming. It says there's abundance for you. There is happiness. There is love. But it's not on the current timeline. It is on a different path. It is on a different timeline. And you have to be ready for that shift and change should you want that for yourself. My luminaries, that is my reading for 2026. Thank you so much for those who were here today and subscribe to my channel. If you like how I read and you like my, general vibe, please consider sharing, subscribing. It really, really helps out. I am a small channel, but I'm growing every single day. And if you feel like this might help or benefit someone, please share it. I hope it confirmed and validated whatever you needed to hear. And I'm wishing you all the best for 2026. This is Rabbit and Moon Tarot. My name is Angel, and I will see you next year.